Welcome to Learn English Through Chunks. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Astro. This episode is a little different from what we usually do. We are not teaching today, we are just talking about something that we think a lot of people feel but do not say out loud very often.
Adult friendships. And specifically, why they are so much harder than they used to be. And why so many of them quietly disappear.
We have opinions about this. We do not completely agree, so this should be interesting.
It should. Okay, let's go. So I want to start with something very specific. There is a moment, and I think most people have had it, where you realize that someone who used to be a really important part of your life is now just not. And you did not have a fight. Nothing dramatic happened. They just quietly disappeared from your day-to-day life. And one day you notice the gap.
Yes, and what is strange about that moment is that it is not painful in a sharp way. It is more like a dull kind of sadness. Like you opened a drawer you had not opened in a while and found something you forgot you valued.
That is exactly it. When did you first notice it? Like really notice it?
Honestly, I was at a birthday dinner a few years ago, and I looked around the table and I realized that almost everyone there was someone I had known for 15 or 20 years. And I thought, when was the last time I made a genuinely new friend? Not a colleague, not someone I follow online, a real friend, someone I had genuinely connected with from scratch as an adult. And I could not answer it.
How long did you sit with that question?
Longer than I would like to admit, and what made it worse was some of the people at that table, people I considered close friends, I realized I had not actually spoken to properly in months. We had just sort of drifted apart without either of us deciding to.
Right. And that is the thing about drifting apart. It does not feel like a decision. It just happens. Slowly. And then one day the distance is so normal that reaching out almost feels strange.
Like you would need to explain the silence before you could have the conversation.
Yes. Like the gap itself becomes the barrier.
Which is ridiculous when you say it out loud, but it is true.
It is so true. I had a friend. We were inseparable at university. Like genuinely attached at the hip. And then we both graduated, moved to different cities, and we would say we would visit. We would text occasionally, and then less occasionally, and then nothing. We just fell out of touch completely. No argument, no reason, just life.
And do you think about her?
Yes, more than I probably let myself acknowledge. Because the honest answer is, I miss her. But the longer you leave it, the harder it feels to reach out. Because then you have to somehow account for all the time that passed.
You have to justify the silence.
Exactly. And by the time you feel ready to do that, another year has gone by.
So I think the question worth asking is, why was it easier before? Because I do not think we imagined that. School friendships, university friendships, they had a different quality. Something clicked faster and held longer. Why?
Proximity. That is my answer. When you are in school, you do not choose your friends. You are just placed next to people and you figure out who you get on well with. You share a classroom, a canteen, a bus home. You spend an enormous amount of time together without making any active decision to do so. And friendship grows in that space.
Right? The environment does the work for you.
Completely. You do not have to put yourself out there in the same way. The structure of school or university creates the conditions for closeness. You end up going through something together almost by accident. Exams, bad teachers, embarrassing moments, whatever it was. And shared experience is the soil that friendships grow in.
I think that is true, but I also think there is something else. When you are younger, you have more time. Not just calendar time, I mean mental space. You are not carrying a mortgage and a job and a family and a health scare. You are just present, and being present with people is how you actually connect with them.
That is fair. So are you saying that adult friendships are harder mainly because we are busier?
I am saying I think busy is a big part of it, yes.
Okay, and I am going to push back on that. Because everyone is busy, but we still make time for the things we prioritize. We find 2 hours to watch something on a screen. We find an hour to scroll through our phones. We have more flexibility than we like to admit.
Come on, that is a bit harsh.
Maybe. But I think we sometimes use busy as a comfortable excuse. Because the truth underneath it is slightly harder to say.
Which is?
That making a new friend as an adult requires a kind of vulnerability that a lot of people are not used to anymore. You have to strike up a conversation with someone you do not know and genuinely hope they like you. And the older you get, the more that feels like a risk.
Okay, yes, that is real.
When you are 12, rejection does not mean the same thing it means when you are 35.
Because when you are 12, your whole social world resets every September anyway.
Exactly. There is always a new class, a new year, a new opportunity. As an adult, there is no reset. If you put yourself out there and it does not work, you just sit with it.
So it is not really about time, it is about risk tolerance.
Partly. I think it is both. But I think the emotional element is more significant than people acknowledge.
Can we talk about the friend you still love but stop calling? Because I think that is its own specific thing.
Yes. That is a different category from just losing touch naturally.
Right. I have a friend, I will not say who, but we were extremely close for a long time. And then gradually, without either of us meaning to, we just stopped being in each other's lives regularly. And I think about him often. I genuinely do. And every few months I think, I should reach out, I should call him. And then I do not.
Why not?
Honestly, I think partly because I feel guilty for how long it has been. And partly because, and this sounds worse when I say it, I have fallen into a routine without him in it. And disrupting that routine takes energy that I am not always sure I have.
That is so honest.
It is not flattering.
No, but it is real. And I think more people feel exactly that and just do not admit it. The guilt is the barrier. Because the moment you reach out, you implicitly acknowledge that you did not reach out sooner. And that feels like an admission of something.
Of taking someone for granted.
Yes. And nobody wants to look at that too directly.
So instead, you just leave it. And the longer you leave it, the bigger the barrier becomes.
And the worst part is, you know the other person is probably thinking the exact same thing. They are also sitting there thinking they should call you. And nobody moves. It is like a standoff where both people want the same outcome and neither one reaches for it.
A standoff of affection.
Exactly. Which is both funny and genuinely sad.
I think what makes it sad is that the friendship is not actually gone. It is just on pause, somewhere in a drawer, and you both know it is there.
And most of the time, if either person did reach out, they would just pick up where they left off. Like no time had passed at all.
Which makes the not reaching out even more inexplicable.
Right. Because the cost of reaching out is so low, and the reward could be so significant. But still, people do not do it.
I wonder how much of it is fear that it has gone cold, that you reach out and it is awkward, that the ease you had before is not there anymore.
That is real. Because the relationship you are holding in your memory is the relationship at its best. And you do not want to discover that version is gone,
So the memory is safer than the reality might be.
which is its own kind of sadness. You preserve the perfect version by never testing it.
I think that is exactly it.
And then, occasionally, someone does reach out. After a year, 2 years, longer. And it turns out the ease is still there. And you are both slightly embarrassed by how long you left it.
And you promise not to leave it that long again.
And then sometimes you do.
Yeah, sometimes you do.
Okay, so, and I know this might be a slightly unpopular thing to say, but I think a lot of adult friendships fade because people stop investing in them. Not because of circumstances, because of a quiet decision that is never actually made out loud.
Meaning?
Meaning that friendships, unlike family relationships or romantic relationships, do not have any institutional support. Nobody asks about them at Christmas dinner. Nobody checks in on them. There is no structure that holds them in place. So, if neither person actively makes an effort, they just fade. And I think a lot of people let them fade without fully acknowledging that that is what they are doing.
I think that is true for some friendships, but I also think, and I am not sure you will agree with me on this, that not all friendships are supposed to last forever. Some of them belong to a phase of life. And when the phase ends, the friendship ends too. And that is not a failure. That is just what happened.
I hear that. And I think there is something to it. Growing apart is natural. People change. What you have in common at 20 is not necessarily what you have in common at 40.
Exactly. And I think there is a kind of pressure, especially now with social media, to maintain every connection indefinitely. Like letting a friendship fade is something you should feel guilty about.
But I think there is a difference between a friendship that fades because both people grew in different directions. That is a kind of natural ending. And a friendship that fades because nobody bothered to make time for someone they still genuinely care about. Those are not the same thing.
How do you know which is which?
I think you know. I think when you think about that person, is there warmth? Or is there just history? If there is warmth, that friendship is not over. It is just neglected.
That is a good distinction.
And I think neglect is a choice, even if it is a passive one. Even if you never sat down and decided, I am not going to be there for this person anymore. The result is the same.
Okay, but then what is the solution? Because I think most people, most genuinely good people, are not neglecting their friends out of selfishness. They are just overwhelmed. They have a lot going on. And the things that shout loudest get the attention.
And friendships are quiet.
Friendships are very quiet. They do not send you an invoice. They do not have a deadline. They do not fire you.
Until they do. Until one day you realize the person is gone and it is too late to do anything about it.
Has that happened to you?
Yes, there was someone, we were very close for a long time. And I kept meaning to be there for her during a really hard period she was going through. And I kept meaning to reach out, to check in, to be a proper friend. And I was busy and distracted and I let her down. Not dramatically, just quietly. And by the time I realized what I had done, she had built a life that did not include me anymore. And she was right to.
That is a heavy thing to carry.
It is. And I think about it still. Because the thing is, she never said anything. She never accused me of anything. She was just less available. And then not available at all. And I understood why.
Do you think she thinks about it?
I genuinely do not know. And I think that might be the saddest part.
So let's talk about the other side of this, because so far we have been talking about friendships that were lost. But what about new friendships? Is it actually possible to make a real friend as an adult, from scratch?
Yes. I think it is. But I think it requires something that a lot of people are not naturally comfortable with. And that is the willingness to be the one who tries first, consistently. Because the early stages of adult friendship are almost embarrassing. You have to suggest things. You have to follow up. You have to make an effort in a way that can feel a bit vulnerable.
Like you are asking someone on a date.
A bit like that, actually. You text someone and you suggest getting a coffee and then you wait. And there is this small but real possibility that they will say yes. And it will be slightly awkward and nothing will click.
I find that part genuinely difficult.
Most people do. And I think what makes it harder now is that we have so many ways to feel connected to people without being actually close to them. You follow someone on social media, you comment on their posts, you feel like you know them. But that is not friendship. That is observation.
Parasocial proximity.
Exactly. And it takes the edge off the loneliness just enough that you do not feel the urgency to actually connect with someone properly.
So social media gives you the feeling of connection without the substance of it.
I think so. And meanwhile, the real work of friendship, actually stepping out of your comfort zone, sitting across from someone you do not know well, finding out if you have something in common, that feels harder by comparison.
When was the last time you made a genuinely new friend?
A few years ago. She was introduced through a mutual friend. And we got a coffee because we had heard we had some overlap in what we did professionally. And the coffee turned into 4 hours. And I walked away thinking, I really like that person. And it felt surprisingly good. Like finding something you forgot you were looking for.
That is the thing about a new friendship when it works. It has this particular quality of ease, where you feel at ease with someone very quickly, even though you barely know them. And you think, oh, this is what this feels like.
Yes. And I think that ease is the thing people remember from younger friendships and spend the rest of their adult life trying to recreate.
And the good news is, it is still possible. It is just less automatic. It requires more intention.
More intention, more willingness to be the one who tries, and probably more tolerance for the awkward early stages.
Which most people want to skip.
Which most people very much want to skip.
So you have to earn the ease.
You have to earn the ease. Yes.
So, are we any closer to an answer, or did we just talk about the problem for half an hour?
I think we talked about the problem, which is maybe its own kind of useful.
I do not think there is a neat answer. I think adult friendships are hard because life is genuinely demanding, and emotional investment requires energy that people often do not have left at the end of a day. And I do not think that makes people bad friends. I think it makes them human.
I think that is generous, and I think it is partly right. But I also think the version of the story we tell ourselves, I am just too busy, this is just what adult life is like, sometimes lets us off the hook for choices that we could make differently.
So you think it is more within our control than I do?
I think it is more within our control than most people are comfortable admitting. Yes. Because once you say it is just life, you do not have to do anything about it.
And once you say it is a choice, you have to look at the choices you are making.
Exactly. And that is harder.
I have been thinking during this conversation about that friend I mentioned, the one I keep meaning to call.
And?
I am going to call him this week.
Good.
Don't make it a big moment.
It already is a big moment. Own it.
Fine, it is a big moment.
I think, for what it is worth, the conversation that is hardest to start is usually the one that matters most. And most of the time, when you reach out after a long silence, the other person is just relieved that someone went first.
Because they were waiting too.
Because they were waiting too.
That is probably where we leave it.
That is probably exactly where we leave it.
One last thing before we go. We used 25 real English chunks in this conversation. Collocations, phrasal verbs, and idioms that you would hear in any natural English conversation about friendships and life. We did not point them out. We did not define them. They were just there.
Check the pinned comment to see all 25. They are listed with a short explanation of each one. See how many you caught while you were listening.
And if you want to hear more conversations like this one, subscribe, because this is the direction we are going.
Real conversations, real English, no textbooks.
Stay safe. See you in episode 7.